We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods Book 3. This is a 4-part miniseries from DC Comics, even though you actually need to read We Were Once Gods, one shot, and 2 issues of Wonder Woman in order for this to make any sense. So this issue was written by Willow Wilson with pencils by Emanuela Lupacchino and Cian Tormey, inks by Emanuela Lupacchino and Raul Fernandz, colors by Jordie Bellaire, letters by Pat Brosseau, cover by Guillem March, assistant editor Rebecca Bonnahan, edited by Brittany Holzer. Now this issue takes place before Wonder Woman 798 in the reading order, and that's very important because stuff that happens here directly impacts that issue, and that issue, if you read it first, will ruin a lot of the big reveals in this one, or as big as the reveals get in this story. So Wonder Woman gets really mopey for a minute because things are not really working out, and there's war and stuff. So Dr. Minerva comforts her and gives her a little self-esteem boost. Meanwhile, Billy is trapped in a cell, and his powers have been largely drained from him. Hecate and Yara show up to help out, and Yara is very condescending and says, well, she got a conscience, so she decided to help him. That's really nice of you, hero. They have to disguise Billy so they can try and sneak out, and they come across 2 of the other gods having some sort of spat, and that's Hermes and Aphrodite, but of course that has to become silly for some reason. Hippolyta shows up for a minute to create a blessing on Billy and kind of returns some of his powers, I guess. That's really vague. Meanwhile, Apollo shows up in Washington, D.C. with a bunch of monsters to confront Wonder Woman and Cheetah. But don't worry, the battle is paused before it begins for like 3 pages so that Steve Trevor can come up and be like, hey, we're here, and some fat black lady and some dude with a sword who is not named at all. And then Captain Marvel and Yara show up as well. So then we can kind of get to battle because, you know, the bad guys just hang around and wait for everybody to get organized. That makes total sense. Why wouldn't they? I mean, hey, we're having a little reunion here where Wonder Woman's got to hug Steve for a couple panels. And then they start fighting, and we finally learn who Hoodie Guy is, and it's kind of predictable. Then we get to the backup story, which is written by Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad, pencils by Alitha Martinez, inks by Mark Morales and John Livesay, colors by Alex Guimaraes, letters by Becca Carey, Rebecca Bonnahan, assistant editor, Brittany Holzer, editor, Paul Kaminsky, group editor. And this one is the Amazons on Themyscira fighting the undead, and Philippius goes to try and get Hippolyta's attention, and of course she's gonna offer up a sacrifice, but Hippolyta shows up so they can make out for a minute, and then we get some other gods introduced, and they all name themselves, but they're the patron gods of the Amazons, so Philippius should already know who they are. Maybe they should have put their names up instead of having them introduce themselves. They're called caption boxes, DC. Caption boxes which worked well in the first story because the editor actually gave us a caption box that referenced what they were babbling about. Overall, this issue was pretty incredibly boring. The storyline barely makes sense. There's a guy in here that's not even named. I have no idea who this character is because I don't read Wonder Woman, so that's really helpful. I don't know who Edda is. I don't know why this fat woman is running around on a field of battle when she's just a normal human. The gods act silly. The dialogue is atrocious. Some of the fight scenes look okay, but the art is pretty amateurish at times and looks really stiff, and people's proportions don't quite look right. First couple pages are the best, but later on, as the issue goes, it looks more and more rushed. Colorists did a good job trying to mask things, but I really didn't find the art that inspiring. The backup story had better art, but that was also kind of a throwaway story that was just some nonsense I didn't care about. I'm really disappointed in this book. It had so much potential, and it's just kind of squandered. It really wants to be War of the Gods, but it doesn't have George Perez behind it. Instead, it has girl power, which wasn't really compensating very well. I would say get it for $1 out of a back issue box or a bargain bin. If you're paying more than that, I think you're going to feel a little ripped off. It's definitely not worth the $5 cover price. And the cover, well, the concept is good. The Wizard Shazam doesn't appear in here at all, and his muscles look bizarre. That's some 1990s Rob Liefeld level of weird looking. So I absolutely hated the cover. That would have put me off if I hadn't already bought the other issues. So it's a pretty big miss. That's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.